Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, VBAC mama, and doula. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this, and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hey mama, this is another episode of the Entering Motherhood podcast. This specifically is a doula talk episode, which if you don't know, we go live on Instagram. And by we, I mean me and Katelyn, who is the co-creator of our signature Own Your Birth childbirth education course. Please go look at that if you are looking for a childbirth education course. It's self-led online comprehensive course, and it is just packed with all the information that you will need to be able to feel informed and empowered as you navigate this stage of pregnancy and leading into birth and even the postpartum period. So we are so excited about that course, and we have been chatting and having these doula talks to provide you with more information to really own your birth and have information that maybe you didn't know or refresh your memory on things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you ever have any topics that you feel like you would want to add or hear, if you have any questions, then please reach out to us and let us know so that we can include it in these episodes and in these conversations that we are having for you to really feel informed and empowered. So let's get this episode started. Hello, and welcome to another week of doula talk. I am super excited to be here. I am still pregnant, if you cannot tell. So we are still going live with these doula talks for now. We are planning on wrapping them up in October. So the last Monday in October will probably be our last one. But for today, we are talking about consistency in pregnancy and what that can look like and things that you can be thinking about to kind of just stay on track and be doing the things that you want to be doing. So I am going to add Katelyn now, and we will get started.
Hi.
Hello. So I can kind of start with this one, and then we can just kind of chat about it a little bit. But I think it's really important to have some sort of accountability, consistency, routine in pregnancy so that you can be staying on top of the things that you want to be doing, whether that's even, you're making a list in the very beginning of all the things that you want to kind of, get through and do and prepare and try, whether it's, maybe like a prenatal yoga or a birth course or, like just like following up with like different things around the house or, packing that hospital bag, like having this like long list of things can kind of seem overwhelming. But when we have consistency and routine and that accountability kind of like around it and helping us, it seems a lot less of a burden. And we do have a lot of weeks to really accomplish most of these things. And if you have a provider, then they're going to have a specific set of things that you're doing every single week. They're going to have, different tests to be done or protocols or things to talk about that like they want to make sure that they're kind of like checking the boxes and doing the things. And that's like very consistent for them, like from patient to patient. And so they might give you a checklist to kind of follow or what to expect of what's coming. But we're also talking today about individual things that you might want to do. Or if you have a doula, maybe there's some things that they're helping you like consistently stay on top of and helping you keep track of, because as the pregnant person, it can be really difficult to remember these things or to want to do these things. And so having somebody there to really help you accomplish these things and get through these things can be really beneficial. So whether that's even a friend that is in, the same like week gestationally as you, or like they just kind of like went through it and they're a little bit ahead of you, or you're listening to a podcast or reading a book or following along with somebody who is kind
Mhm.
of at that same stage, then you're getting ideas of things that, oh, maybe I should like start prepping this or start doing
Yeah.
this. And so I think it's really important just to kind of have that in mind so
Mhm.
that you're not getting to the end of your pregnancy and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't do any of this stuff."
I know.
Or it seems like everything's compiling all together at the very
Mhm.
end.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to, like you said, like, start that list and and you're gonna keep adding to it. It's one of those things you think of, "Oh, this would be nice to do," or, "Oh, this would be good." But as you get that list, almost, like, categorize it as, like, "This is what needs to be done, and this is what I would like to do, but it's okay if it doesn't get done." And some of those things might flip-flop a little bit, and that's fine. But just, like, getting that list together and being like, "Okay, this is what I really wanna do." Or, like, for me with my daughter, one thing that was, like, a non-negotiable for me was doing my, like, spinning babies exercises multiple times a week. Every day was great, but, like, 4 to 5 times a week minimum. And because I was, like, obsessed over her position, and, I mean, I think it helped. She was in a great position, but that was something that was super important for me. And it's gonna look different for everybody, and that's fine. But like you were saying with, like, if you're planning a hospital birth, getting a hospital bag packed by whatever week, feels good to you. Getting your, meal prepping or something like that, if that's something that you really wanna do, like, having those freezer meals. Like, just set a goal, have, like, 10 freezer meals by, 36 weeks or whatever that looks like for you. And even if, like, the accountability for that looks like inviting a friend over, inviting your mom over or whoever and just saying, "Hey, today's the day that I wanna do this. Can you come over and help me?" And then it doesn't feel like so much of a chore. It feels like you're just hanging out with your friend or your mom and, being productive while you're at it, you know? And, like, things like that, I feel like can make it seem more fun instead of, "Ugh, I've got a meal prep today," you
Right.
know?
Yeah, yeah, and exactly to your point, like, I think it's there's some really great apps out there, like, I even follow
Mhm.
some apps that just kinda give you, like, a weekly snapshot. It doesn't have to be, like, consistency every single day.
Yeah.
It can be something that, like, once a week, you're checking in and looking at your list of things and saying, like,
Mhm.
"Okay, like, did I do this? Do I want to do this?" Like, if
Yeah.
you have certain books that you wanna read or, like I said, like, a class or something that you wanna take, like, let's make
Mhm.
sure that we're just, like, prioritizing those and, like, putting them on the list, and again, if you don't get to it, most of the time, like, it's gonna be fine, like, you'll have your baby, like, you'll get to those things, like, we just
Yeah.
built our crib and our dresser this weekend, and that wasn't even gonna be something that we had done because
Yeah.
we know that baby's gonna stay in our room for a while, we're not gonna utilize the nursery, and so even if baby came before that was accomplished, we'd be fine because we don't
Yeah.
need that right away. But also, like, I realized that we have no diapers that are like size newborn or size 1. So it's like, okay, maybe we should have some of those on hand because we
Yeah.
had old
Mhm.
diapers from our older, like our other kids, but the smallest size was size 3. So it was like, maybe we should get this together. So it's like
Yeah.
little things like that because, like, yes, like you will need, diapers right away. And like, I guess
Yeah.
you can wrap them up in a cloth or something for our for a day and then run out to the store and like go get them. And if you're
Mhm.
having a hospital birth, they usually supply
Mhm.
at least a pack of diapers, and you can take them with you.
Yeah.
So, like little stuff like that, like it's all going to come together. It's all going to be fine. You're going to have, what you need. But if there's certain things that, you want or like you think
Mhm.
might be useful or you want to like do certain things like if you want to have a baby shower or we just did like a mother's blessing like if you want to have like those kinds of things and that's like a real big priority for you, then make sure that you're putting it on the list and then having somebody that is helping you go through these things can be really beneficial too. So, like, if you do have
Mhm.
a doula, tell your doula, like, hey, these are the things that, like, I want to have accomplished. So, like, can you check in with me and make sure that I'm, like, staying on top of them? Even if it's like, hey, nutrition is really important for me, movement is really important for
Yeah.
me. Can you just send me a text and say, hey, did you do your squats today? Like, hey, did you nourish your body today? Like,
Yeah.
just like those, like, little friendly reminders can go a long way and, like, do a
Mhm.
lot because, like I said, like, as the pregnant person, you're working overtime, doing all this stuff, growing this baby that,
Mhm.
like, it slips or you get tired or you're thinking about who knows what. And
Yeah.
so you honestly just forget to do those things or you
Yeah.
are, like, preoccupied and just don't remember or don't feel like it. And so, like, when you have somebody there, sometimes it can really help because it's like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. I should." And even if it's your partner, like, tell your
Mhm.
partner, like, "Hey, these are certain things." Like, I have a checklist of, like, things for Jeff, my husband, and I'm like, "Hey, like, these are things that I think, like, we should have done or that, like, I would like to
Mhm.
accomplish before baby gets here or, like, soon after baby gets here." And, like, he has a checklist too for, like, when I go into labor, like, set this up, put this there. Like, he's, like,
Mhm.
aware of all of these things. And so, like, just having that, like, again, like, accountability and, like, keeping them tied in on your
Yeah.
consistency. Like, maybe they aren't going to every appointment or they can't go to every appointment. And so keeping them in the loop though and saying like,
Yeah.
"Hey, my appointment today, they're gonna do blood work. So, like, I'd really like you there." Or like, "Hey,
Mhm.
today they're just doing, like, a routine checkup. So, this is what's going on, but, you're not necessarily, like, need it there today."
Mm.
But then, like, when you get back from the appointment or done with the appointment, like, tap in with them and say, like, "Hey, this is
Mhm.
what went on." Like, some appointments that Jeff can't make, then I just, like, FaceTime him or call him,
Yeah.
and, like, he just listens in. And
Mhm.
it's, like, as simple as that, like, having that, like, person that is just, like, aware of it, that's not in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, kinda to that point, like, I think getting your partner involved is super important because especially if they're planning on being there for the birth. And because then so I know with Joe, our first baby was in COVID. And he was not very involved, not necessarily because he didn't wanna be, but because he couldn't come to any of the appointments. He wasn't allowed to come to anything. And for Christmas that year, I got a one of those, like, bougie concierge ultrasounds or whatever because they would let him come. And
Mhm.
I said and honestly, I don't think like, he knew I was pregnant, like, he all of that, but I don't think it really clicked for him that we are having this baby until he actually seen it. So, to that point, like, what I'm trying to say is they love being involved, especially when they feel like they're helpful. And so I know something that's been, like, really good for us, not necessarily in pregnancy, just, like, in life in general, is having, like, lists. So our phones are kinda synced up to with multiple different things, but we have lists and, like, our calendars are synced. So we'll look at the calendars and be like, "Okay, this is going on this day." So you can make lists that are synced and have, like, your pregnancy checklist, your labor checklist, your whatever checklist, and they can look at it and, just say, "Hey, let's try to look at this, like, once a week or a couple times a week." And we're holding each other accountable. He looks at something and is like, "Oh, like, it looks like you haven't been able to do much this week. Is there anything I can help you with?" Or whatever. Like, that can be super helpful because then not only is this the person that you're doing life with, that this is the person that's gonna be there for birth and all of that, but it makes him feel like he's involved, and it makes you feel like you're cared for and supported. And
Yeah.
so, like, I'm saying this and I'm like, "That's a good idea. I should do that." but,
Yeah, yeah.
like, just an idea that I just had. So
Yeah, there's some really great apps and books and stuff for
mhm.
partners too. And so it's
Yeah.
like, you might be reading all these baby books and things like that. And like maybe it's geared a little bit more towards the pregnant person, but partners can
Mhm.
be reading it too. Like right now, I'm doing like the hypnobirthing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's a partner track. So it's like
Mhm.
specifically for them to get them in the like hypnosis state too, so that they can be
Yeah.
thinking positively. Because, yeah, like especially like if they're going to be in that birth space,
Yeah.
you want them to be in that same headspace or aware of what you want or what your expectations are. And so like if
Yeah.
you're both consistently like, meeting once a week even and talking about like what is birth going to look like or how is this going to
Mhm.
go or what's the plan for this, or
Mhm.
even starting to bleed into postpartum like hey, what does
Yeah.
postpartum look like?
Mhm.
Starting to get in like a consistent habit of just checking in with each other because like you said, like this is the person that you're doing life with who helped you bring life into this world and
Yeah.
you guys are now going to be, joint together raising this baby and like you want to stay on the same page and so like there's like consistency in that
Mhm.
too and just like
Yeah.
making sure that you're tapping in with those people around you if there's like a friend that you really like to hear from or a family member or something, like say to them, like, hey, like, I'm, in this headspace right now that like it would really be
Mhm.
helpful if you could text me every once in a while and just like say, like, how are you doing? Because I might not be able to check in with you because I have a lot going on. But like, I
Mhm.
need you to check in with me because like
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, even though like it might seem like I'm all scattered or things are going on, especially in like those first few weeks. And so,
Mhm.
like, starting to build those routines and that consistency now is just
Yeah.
going to, like, help bleed into the postpartum period.
Yes. And something that I've noticed is if you feel really supported in pregnancy, you're more likely to feel supported in postpartum too. And so, especially if you get like your close knit group, whether it be your partner, your friends, family, whoever, to where they're making you feel supported and you have talked to them and like explained to them how you can feel supported in pregnancy, then they're going to know a little bit better how to support you in postpartum. And, I think, and so guilty of this too, of being like, I just feel like I don't have support. Well, that's because I haven't talked to people. That's because I haven't, told people like, "Hey, this is what I need."
Yeah.
You can't expect people to just know, you know? And
Yeah.
so, like, having that open line of communication, I think, is so important.
Yeah, and, like, being really intentional about, like, what kind of support you need or what kind of, like,
Mhm.
things you want to be consistent. Like, even,
Yeah,
if you're having, like, weekly chiropractic appointments or something,
yeah.
that can be, like, very consistent and helpful, and you're having somebody that you're going to who's
Mhm.
adjusting you and attuning you and asking you, like, "How are you feeling? What's going on?" If you have, like, therapy sessions,
Yeah.
like, these are, like, all on top of just, like, your general provider. So, like, if you have, like,
Mhm.
an OB or a midwife, you're
Mhm.
you're building this team, and maybe it is, like, you have to do that intentionally. It's not people that are just coming to you and saying, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be, like, your go-to person for this," because, like, everybody has, like, busy lives and things like that. But if
Mhm.
you say, like, "Hey, can you call me on Mondays? Just keep up with that. I get it, like, your life is busy too, like, you might get distracted or something like that. Or like, hey, can I put a reminder in my phone and I call you on Mondays? Like, what does that look like
Yeah.
for you? Or what day of the week is good for you that I can just kind of like tap in and vent and decompress and go through my list and like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because like it's good to have that consistency. And like I said, like if you're doing
Yeah.
it throughout pregnancy, it's going to become like a routine of sorts that you'll have those things to rely on in postpartum if that's something that you still
Mhm.
wanna, like, stick with or have or
Yeah.
be doing. Like, I mean, I love listening to podcasts as much as I love, like, creating the podcast, but it's just, like, also reading books. Like, I've been very much, like,
Mhm.
every night, like, kids are kinda running rampant, we're, like, getting bedtime started, and I go and read for half an hour. And so,
Yeah.
like, I have, like, a stack of books that, if I get to, I get to, but if it's, like, into postpartum too, then, like, I have that. Or even if it's, like, a TV show that gives you entertainment that, like,
Mhm.
helps you decompress.
Yeah.
it's that kind of consistency of, like, you're just doing something that's
Mhm.
benefiting you, just as if, like, you're waking up and having, like, your cup of coffee every day. Like, let's, like, tie
Yeah.
something in that, you want to be doing, like, go sit outside when you drink your coffee if you wanna, like, make sure that you're getting
Mhm.
outside and getting some fresh air. Drink a glass of water while your coffee is brewing or, like,
Yeah.
can like, just, like, at that same thing. So, like, if you're already doing, like,
Mhm.
consistent things, you can kind of, like, stack those on top. Like, you're getting up, you're
Mhm.
you're waking up, you're going to the bathroom, maybe every time you go to the bathroom, like, you drink some water. Like,
Yep.
just having those things kind of flawlessly go into
Mhm.
your daily life can make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Or even something else, talking about, like, bathroom routines, is a great time to add in exercise is while you're brushing your teeth, which sounds crazy, but doing a few squats while you're brushing your teeth, it's like nothing, Like, you can easily get in 10 squats, and even if you need, like, a hand to help stabilize you when you're very pregnant, you just use one hand to brush your teeth. Like you said, like, that habit stacking can be so beneficial.
No matter what it is, just, having some sort of accountability,
Mhm.
consistency, routine. I think it's just good to be thinking about and good to be aware of and making that list or finding a list or asking a friend, like, hey, like, did you have a list of things that you wanted to have done?
Mhm.
Because sometimes it is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, or I don't know
Oh,
what I can do. And so, like, that's why I think like doulas are great. Like, we usually
yeah.
kind of have like certain things that you can be thinking of or doing or staying
Yeah.
on top of, or we have suggestions that you can try and look out for. And
Mhm.
if you have a local doula, then they're aware of a lot of like, different support groups in the area or different,
Mhm.
programs or classes or courses or, things that you can be doing locally too.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's great. Or find like a mom friend, find a mom group. There's a lot
Mhm.
of new things I think that are like popping up and happening and
Yeah.
being created that are great and like they're there. But it is important too. Like, don't just like sign up for a group and then like maybe show up. Like, find a friend that's in that group and like hold each
Mm.
other accountable because sometimes
Yeah.
it can be very hard to do these things by ourselves, especially
Mhm.
when like we're pregnant and there's just a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think something else too is it's very important to be aware of your capacity. And that's something that I've had to like really remind myself of here recently because I'm the type of person I'm like, oh, yeah, I can go 7 days a week, like 25 hours a day. We can do that. And then I'm like, no, you can't. So while I am all for signing up for the groups and, doing the exercise classes and all of that stuff, like make sure you're also mindful of what your body can handle and time to rest as well. Because especially in pregnancy, it is so hard to get the amount of rest that you need. Or I feel like it's one extreme or the other. You're either like always resting or it's like you're never resting. And but that rest is very important too, and especially if you have other kids, like,
Yeah.
man, being pregnant with other kids, especially toddlers, is just a wild experience.
Yeah, and that can even be like, consistency in making sure you're getting enough sleep.
Mhm.
Like things like that you're just, like, hey, like I want to prioritize my sleep and I want to make sure that like I'm getting a certain number of hours a night. So making
Yeah.
that a priority or, napping. If you are working and you have a lunch break, maybe it doesn't take you a full hour to eat lunch and you eat for 20 minutes and you go take a half an hour nap. So
Yeah.
like, whatever it might be, like, just having that consistency in whatever capacity, and like I said, it's gonna look different for everybody. There's
Yeah.
obviously, lists and things and stuff that you can be doing weekly, but really shaping it to you and how you want
Mhm.
your pregnancy to look can really just be super beneficial, and then you're kind of, like, staying on top of these things.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Cool. Well, as
Mhm.
always, if anybody has anything to add or if there's anything that they're doing consistently or that they need help with, staying on top of or have any questions, you can always DM either Caitlin or I. We are always here to chat and talk. You can drop
Mhm.
comments in this live, and yeah, we just
Yeah.
wanted to kind of point that out, give you some things to think about.
And, even if it's just like, I don't even know what I need to be doing, just ask. Like Sarah said, you can DM us, you can put comments, you can ask questions, however you want to do it. We are here for y'all. And we're excited to keep doing these for the next couple weeks until little baby Bilger's born.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning before you jumped on that we probably will just be, like, stopping them in October, whether baby's here or not, and then we will probably just be returning in the new year. So we'll have some other things going on and ways, obviously, that you can always reach out to us.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya.
Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.